Good afternoon, everybody. Here we are on a beautiful May day. Appreciate all of you who are joining us to get an update here. I'll very quickly go through the cases, and then I want to talk just a little bit about the news that we made yesterday about the potential reopening of some businesses. I call it sort of a soft opening or an easing into this. But first, let's talk a little about the cases. City of St. Louis, 1,385 cases, 78 deaths. St. Louis County, 3,648 cases, 200 deaths. State of Missouri, almost 9,000 cases, 377 deaths. The numbers from
That's brand new.
The numbers from Dr. Garza and the St. Louis Metropolitan Pandemic Task Force say currently hospitalized, this is yesterday's number, but 654, that's down 31 people. That's some good news for. And cumulative COVID patients who have been in the hospital and been discharged, 1,320. So I know that's a lot of numbers. The long and the short of that is that we still believe, Dr. Garza and the Pandemic Task Force still believe that we did hit the peak about a week ago. It has stabilized, gone down a bit. We are looking very heavily at a couple of numbers, which are, I sometimes call them true truths, meaning not subject to sort of interpretation. One is the new hospitalization admissions, people who went into the hospital day by day. It is trending down a bit. If you want to, for those of you that like these numbers, and I know not everyone does, but if you want to really take a good look at these, look at the St. Louis Metropolitan. That when we initially began talking about this, we talked a lot about testing, but we all know that we actually don't have as many tests as any of us want. We have more than we did before. A bit of good news here today. The city of St. Louis has had 20,000 tests on order. We've had two different orders, but the first one was for 20,000 tests. 13,000 of those tests came in today. Now, they have to be validated, is the word. In other words, Quest Diagnostic, I think, is the one who is doing it today, and we hope to have the results by the end of the day to be sure that these tests are good, because that's not always the case, but they are in the process of testing those now. So they've been on order for a few weeks. And so we're not exactly sure. These tests that we got today, many of them will go to the federally qualified health centers who are doing testing for us around St. Louis, both North and South St. Louis. I've been over those with you before as to where they are, but they are CARE STL Health has several sites. Affinia has several sites. Family Health has a couple of sites. So that's a bit of good news, that we finally did get 13,000 tests. We'll use those pretty quickly, most likely. So that's sort of the statistics here. Last evening, County Executive Page and I announced that we are going to begin to ease reopening of businesses on Monday, May the 18th. That's about 12 days from now. But between now and then, we are going to continue to look at these numbers, that we will have an increase in new cases. We're going to have an increase because now we have more tests. So we are expecting an increase in new cases Monday. It means that we are still going to have some restrictions in place. For example, you will still have to socially distance. This is going to be with us for the foreseeable future. You're going to have to stay 6 feet away from people. You're going to have to wear your masks if you want to continue to be safe. Both of those are extremely important. Of course, you got to wash your hands. You got to use hand sanitizer. You've got to disinfect work surfaces. And I feel a bit like a broken record here because I've said those things so many times. But as we begin to ease back into work, things like cleaning work surfaces is going to become even more important. Masks are going to become more important. We are a fancy mask. I don't know if I showed this one to you. Really great company sent me this mask. It's a small company. I'm looking for their name right now. Her name is Nancy. Jacob's going to find who it is. I can't think of it right off the top of my head.
Great Knots.
Great Knots, yes. They usually make bow ties and cummerbunds and that sort of thing. But now they're making masks. So it doesn't have to be a fancy mask like this. It can be a bandana. You can make one out of something you have. But it's pretty important that the public, the customers, wear masks when they go out to shop, go into a store or a restaurant. Some kind. It's important to wear masks. It's also important to wear a mask if you're outside, if it's unpredictable about whether or not you're going to be able to stay 6 feet apart. If you're out in your yard, that's fine. We know you don't need a mask there. But if you are out in a public and